What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Grace uses perfect leverage to bury Liam with blackmail on Finn. The Bold and the Beautiful gives the impression that Grace Buckingham might be able to bribe John Finnegan into letting her lie about Liam Spencer die. Will Grace find the perfect leverage to hold over Finn's head? When it comes to Grace's concocted fake tumor and procedure, Finn already recognizes the warning signs. Grace has obviously been lying this whole time, so BNB suggests Finn will confront her once everything unravels. Grace's medications were most likely the real cause of Liam's worsening symptoms, as he now feels fine. Grace devised a complex plan to acquire Bill Spencer's $1 million, but Finn soon discovers the truth. Grace may use blackmail because she will be so desperate to keep her career going and stay out of jail. Grace might be able to get by with her actions, at least for a while, if she can find some dirt to keep Finn quiet. We can think of some clever ways to use blackmail that involve Finn's beloved adoptive mother and his not-quite-dead daughter. Grace might be aware of this information, or at least be able to find out about it through a shady accomplice because Lee Finnegan pretended Luna Nozawa had died and smuggled her out of the hospital. What if when Finn threatens to expose Grace, she fires right back with a threat to expose Lee? Grace might surprise Finn by telling him that Lee broke a lot of laws by sneaking criminal Luna out to a private recovery somewhere else. Grace might swear that if she goes down, she will take Lee with her. In other words, if Grace has to lose her medical license and land behind bars, she could make sure Lee does the same. Would Finn be willing to keep his mouth shut about Grace's scam to keep Lee out of the slammer? Finn's complicated feelings for Luna could come into play as well if Lee eventually asks him to keep quiet for his daughter's sake. Lee doesn't want Luna to go back to prison and thinks she needs real support from her family right now. This could cause Finn a lot of trouble and even force him to keep a big secret from Steffi Forrester. Did Grace botch Liam's surgery, turned him into a monster? Doctor says, The Bold and the Beautiful. Grace Buckingham may have botched Liam Spencer surgery, and there could be serious consequences. Brain surgery is no joke, and one wrong nick with a scalpel could change Liam's entire personality. When Liam Spencer begins his recovery journey, will he begin acting strange and out of character? Here's what's coming up next on Bold and Beautiful. Spoilers down below. Bold and the Beautiful say Dr. John Finnegan is already suspicious of Grace's $1 million surgery. The investigation is underway, and Finn and Bridget Forrester are determined to discover the truth about what transpired in that operating room. What did Grace do in the operating room? If Grace did something to Liam while he was under, they will figure it out eventually. But there may not be anything they can do to repair the damage Dr. Buckingham did. A popular Bold and Beautiful theory on the internet is that Grace didn't perform any operation and conned Bill Spencer. But what if she did do brain surgery and in her haste damaged part of Liam's brain and altered his personality, anger, memories, or even something more? There are no bold indicating that Scott Clifton is leaving the soap anytime soon, which means he will survive. But what if he doesn't remember things for a long time or has forgotten some of his friends and family? Liam has transformed. According to BNB, Liam won't be the same man that he was before surgery. When Thomas Forrester had a tumor, he was carrying around a Hope Logan mannequin. Could removing Liam's tumor have a similar effect on him? Even worse, Dollar Bill's son could become angry or violent if she damaged certain parts of his brain. Do you think that Grace Buckingham actually performed a brain surgery? Is Liam Spencer going to be a totally different person post-operation? At the heart of the chaos unraveling across the Bold and the Beautiful lies a carefully spun web of deceit, desperation, and dangerous leverage, a web crafted almost entirely by Grace Buckingham. With her reputation teetering on the edge of disaster and her $1 million scheme spiraling out of control, Grace now finds herself cornered by Dr. Finnegan, John Finn. But instead of retreating or folding under the weight of the coming storm, Grace does what she does best. She recalibrates, sharpens her claws, and prepares to strike back with the one weapon she still has: perfect leverage. The countdown to the confrontation began as soon as Finn began to notice that something about Grace's medical procedures did not add up. A damning picture was created by Liam Spencer's inexplicable symptoms, Grace's quick recovery from the so-called surgery, and the convenient disappearance of any medical evidence pointing to a genuine tumor. Grace, always a tactician however, was already planning 10 steps ahead. She knew the walls were closing in. And when Finn demands answers, she doesn't deny or beg, she counters. With a calm, sinister precision, She exposes what she knows about a secret that could destroy more than just her own career: the truth about Finn's adoptive mother Lee Finnegan and the daughter they both swore had died, Luna Nozawa. Grace insinuates, then declares outright, that she knows Lee faked Luna's death, smuggled her out of the hospital under forged medical records, and kept her alive in secrecy, actions that could cost Lee not just her license but her freedom. Finn, stunned and visibly shaken, immediately realizes that Grace's leverage is real. It's not speculation, it's cold, hard blackmail, and it threatens to drag his entire family down. The look on Finn's face tells the story. He is a man who is caught between two moral imperatives: protecting the woman who raised him and the daughter who, despite all odds, returned from the grave, and doing the right thing by exposing Grace's malpractice. Grace recognizes this. She's banking on it. Her play is impenetrable. She leans in, tells Finn that if he goes to the board, the press, or Bill Spencer himself with the truth, she'll expose Lee's cover-up and Luna's resurrection. The consequences: Lee and Grace both lose their medical licenses and face criminal charges. Luna could also be brought back into the spotlight and face charges of insurance fraud or worse. Grace even implies that with the right media spin, Luna's story could be twisted to appear as if she was complicit. It's a nuclear threat, and one Finn may not be ready to counter. He tries to call her bluff, but she's got photos, documents, even a forged medical report she claims Lee wrote under duress. The implication is that she has been waiting for this moment in secretly gathering ammunition. Finn appears to be shaken after the confrontation. He wants to tell Steffi, wants to blow the whistle, but he can't. The cost is excessive. Meanwhile, Liam Spencer, oblivious to the full scope of the power struggle happening behind the scenes, is trying to piece together who he is after the supposed surgery. At first, he felt strange, disoriented, irritable, and emotionally disconnected. Now, the symptoms have dissipated, but something deeper is off. His memory is patchy. His feelings toward Hope, Steffi, and even his father, Bill, seem scrambled. He's no longer certain about his love, loyalty, or past motivations. And while his physical health has stabilized, his mental state is in freefall. He is impatient, prone to agitation, and dangerously impulsive, elements of the man he used to be that have been obscured by something more sinister. Some in his circle suspect trauma, or maybe even relief from a tumor's pressure. However, Finn and Bridget Forrester are beginning to speculate about something far more sinister. Either Grace never underwent any actual surgery, or worse, she did, but she failed miserably. Bridget's investigation into the surgical logs at the private facility where Grace supposedly performed Liam's operation turns up missing paperwork, conflicting witness reports, and zero evidence that an actual brain tumor was removed. In a secret meeting with Finn, Bridget reveals her fear. Grace may have made a superficial incision to simulate surgery, pumped Liam full of powerful sedatives and antipsychotics to mimic post-op side effects, and convinced Bill Spencer to hand over $1 million for a medical miracle that never occurred. Alternately, there is a terrifying possibility that Grace damaged Liam's frontal lobe or amygdala regions, which are associated with emotional regulation and impulse control, if the surgery was actually performed. The implications are chilling. Liam may have lost not just pieces of his memory, but vital parts of what made him Liam, the man Hope trusted, Steffi confided in, and Bill believed in. The storyline deepens as Liam begins to exhibit troubling behavior. He lashes out during a board meeting at Spencer Publications, nearly throws a glass at Wyatt during an argument, and accuses Hope of planting false memories when she gently tries to reconnect. In one haunting scene, Liam stands outside Steffi's house late at night, confused and trembling, unable to recall how he got there. Steffi, terrified, calls Finn for help. He hesitates, however, when Finn arrives. He wants to protect Liam, begin aggressive mental health treatment, and hold Grace accountable with every fiber of his being. However, Grace's threat still hangs like a guillotine over him. If he says anything about what Grace did, she'll torch his mother's legacy and possibly send Luna into another exile.